Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans, and in it you can find opinion articles, podcasts, including ours truly, and also modalidades, if you will. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Benfica Independent, where you can get merch, you can sign to get exclusive content, and share your Benfiquismo.
Ser benfiquista é uma crença.
É uma religião muito grande.
A adesão é um culto que é liberado, que crê, que é mental, que é o caráter das pessoas.
A alma de quem é grande, maior que os maiores. É uma paixão pouca explicação.
Eu não consigo explicar o que é ser do Benfica. Eu sinto o que é ser do Benfica. É de facto uma paixão. E as paixões são assim, vivem-se assim intensamente.
Aqui não há nenhuma razão. É paixão, paixão, paixão.
Ser Benfica. Até à morte.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças. With me, as always, Cristiano Oliveira. Cristiano Oliveira, como é que é, amigo? Tudo bem?
Alfredinho, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I'm doing well. My wallet is not doing so well. It's a little lighter. I went to the pump this afternoon to gas up, to fill up my car.
Bet you it was more than I did. And did I tell you?
Probably not. You got a
You
bigger
walked in?
tank. No. You got a bigger tank in that.
Hey, that's what she said, baby.
No, I think I only have, 12 gallons in my little Civic?
25.
Oh, this...
I said, what the? Yo, could I leave it here and walk?
Do I get a free car wash with this?
I don't walk. Just keep it. I don't even want to touch it. Just leave it full.
Holy
But it
cow.
is- yeah, it was a huge eye opener.
At least I almost asked the guy, at least kiss me while you're fucking me. But no, I thought it was a little bit too forward. Dave de Oliveira is here also. Dave, how's the gas prices in Canada, man? Is Trudeau doing right by you?
No. Well, hasn't been doing anything right as of late. But
They ride the snowmobiles.
the gas,
Yes,
I filled up my tank on my Civic there before everything hit the fan there. So I haven't pumped it up since everything went. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be about $70 here to fill up a
Canadian
Honda
hay
Civic.
or
Canadian
70
hay,
American?
yeah.
Canadian.
But luckily,
How much
if
is
you
that in
listen to
America?
this podcast, you're going to start making money by listening to Cristiano's picks, and we're all going to make money to afford gas here. So tune into
That's right.
the podcast.
2 weeks in a row, Cristiano predicts the right. I'm not even going to say guess because there's a method to the madness, right? So I'm going to say Cristiano predicted the two results for the past two Benfica games.
It's more like 6 out of the last 10.
Epa, no, olha,
It is.
I take that shit back.
I've been counting.
It's
didn't
a
wanna toot
guess.
my own
It's a
horn.
guess. It's not a prediction. It's a guess. But yeah, I mean, if you're tuning in for Cristiano's betting tips, stay tuned. We'll be talking about that later.
Pepas, let all the Freddies come in before you start praising
Yeah.
me. I want them to jump in and praise me as well.
Mike Gonçalves is here. What's going on, Mike?
What's
Hope
up, mate?
everything is well with you. Paul Freire just joined.
Wait, he just left Chelsea. And former Portuguese international, Vitória Setúbal, Porto, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Obrigado, Paulinho.
Yeah, Paulo, I love my Civic, man. I get I get about almost 360 miles to a full tank. Pretty good. And that's without the eco.
You know, it's funny.
Without the eco
My
turn
truck
on.
always says 360. No matter what. When I put $20, $100, it's 360. So
Well, that's what you start with.
I
That
think
zero.
That's where you got that number from. You
No.
gotta find that card,
I actually
360.
reset the
I
counter.
gotta try that. I gotta try
I
resetting.
reset the counter, and then when I go fill it, I said,
But
"Oh,
mine
okay,
counts
this was
down.
That's what I
you got
do
this
too.
much left. You got this much left. So it says right now your full tank's 360, and then as you start, you could tell like 280.
yeah. No, but I'm talking about the trip counter. I reset my
I
trip
know. I've
counter.
never done that. I gotta do it. I want to see if it's
Dave, what do you think you get to full tank, Dave? Well, you're
Well,
kilometers, right?
It's
Or
liters.
miles?
So
Esquece. No,
so I-
no. Isso é muita confusão para a minha cabeça,
Yeah,
pá.
yeah.
Esquece. Cesar da Silva, what's happening, Cesar? Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing
I had
well.
a Civic like 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
No, a little less. Maybe like 2005. I had a Civic 4-door. That shit was dope though. It was like a 89, I think. And so like it looked like it didn't even
Civics
have,
are classics.
it looked like it didn't even have a hood in the front. It was like I was driving on top of the car. I used to kill it.
My dad had a Civic, and you know, he used to call it a Civic Yurang.
Uyura.
Because that shit was like you stepped on the gas. It was very responsible, even though it was a 4-cylinder. But it was like one of those the Civic hatchbacks, and he was like, "This shit powers through everything. I'm gonna go call it Yurang."
Uyura era o Kulkovac era gran tanque, mas I loved Uran as well.
Olha, Mike says he's gonna be in New York City próxima semana.
Get a bodyguard, bro. The way shit is out there in the city now, all the crime, everybody get a bodyguard.
Yeah,
we'll talk, Mike. We'll talk.
yeah, definitely.
Se não tiver a fazer nada, vou lá ter contigo.
Yeah. So anyway, here we are. You got to cancel all your appointments to meet with Mike, man. He's a celebrity.
Se fosse o Oscar, agora ele.
Oscar, okay.
Oscar, I think that's the guy that does the podcast.
Oh, Oscar.
That's what I
Oscar.
said. Se fosse o Oscar.
Oscar is
Oscar.
in Florida.
Is he?
Yeah, from what I understand.
I'll go hang out with Mike then.
Yeah. No, Mike's a good guy. The only thing is that he's an Arsenal supporter. That's the only thing I probably
Arsenal as
don't
well.
like about.
I like
Mike.
our. Passa me a minha água. Passa que assim. I like our. I mean, look. So me and Mike got a couple more things in common, except the volleyball stuff. He does like volleyball podcasts and all that stuff. I mean, guy got a lot of time on his hands.
That's right. He's one of the hardest working podcasters in the Benfica community. Him and Mr. Benfica.
When they start doing Benfica baseball, I'll be a participant on every podcast.
I think Chris, you could probably go and coach Benfica baseball with your knowledge of the game.
It is my favorite American pastime. It really is, and I do know a lot.
My favorite American pastime is sleeping.
Oh, you said Portuguese.
He said it was a Lynch. So anyway, we're kind of burning some time here, hoping that all the more Freddies join us before we get going. But I'll give you today's lineup.
We kicked off last week's podcast about me being Mr. Right, and I just had a question for you guys. Was I right or was I wrong, Dave?
You were right. I already gave you your shout out. I gave you your praise.
There's more Freddies in the chat now, so I'm just Alfredo. Was I right? Was I wrong?
You were right, but we're back to that conversation of you tooting your own horn. So here you were doing.
You never do, so I have to.
No, I was going to remind everyone. I did remind everyone that you got the last couple of results right.
Yeah, right. Let's move on.
And the first one is even more impressive than this one. This one is impressive too.
Because after they scored a second one, they went to sleep. It's as if they listened to the podcast and the boys are trying to make me look good. So I appreciate it.
Chris has people on the inside getting the scoreline right for
him. Hey, Dave.
He's like that one dude that basketball dude that just got
NFL.
Calvin Ridley. And guess what? I traded for him the week he had mental health problems. So hey. No connection between the two of us.
What was the mental health? You just lost a lot of money.
He said he only bet like 1,500.
Yeah, but he was doing like 5 and 8 game parlays.
He was doing parlay bet 15.
Apparently, it was like paying out $11 million too if they.
5 and 8, 18 parlays.
Friends of mine that would that have a little bit of knowledge of how these things go. They said will most likely happen. It'll come out at some time. My friends were like, what most likely happen is these bookies started pressuring them to throw games. And obviously, I'd rather have mental problems than have to throw games. So, that'll be a conversation for another podcast. But yeah, I mean, things can get really interesting. And that's the whole scare. That's the whole thing with, athletes betting on games and stuff like that. Because now bookies, you owe money to, I mean, not that he wouldn't have money to pay because the guy's a multimillionaire, makes millions of dollars a year. But when now you're being asked to throw games, and if you don't throw the game, I'm gonna out you. I'm gonna let everybody know you've been betting. So now you're stuck in a wall in a hard place.
Yeah, the biggest thing, and obviously there's mechanisms, and we'll get into the podcast in a little bit, but there's mechanisms in place to safeguard of things like this happened. So the application in which he placed his bet
is a partner of the NFL.
Not only that, but there's a watchdog that if there's anything that's wrong with these agencies must report it. So they reported to this watchdog who apparently, sports betting and stuff, and that's how he got to the NFL.
Well, what did they report?
They reported that he bet.
Well, there's speculation that he gave his name. He signed up as David de Oliveira from Canada. But then when he throws in his credit card to pay, his credit card number comes out. So that was kind of like
classic.
What was going around. But it's
classic move.
Yeah, don't gamble, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a good hobby.
But if you gamble, make sure that you listen to Christiana's picks.
Like Pauline says, I should start charging.
That's right.
That's on my what is it? OnlyFans page.
OnlyFans. I thought OnlyFans was only to show for adults.
It specifically says clearly OnlyFans.
Yeah, but behind that there's some nakedness.
No, that's you people. Dave, OnlyFans, right? I'm a good natured boy. See, your mind is corrupted.
Carlos is here. Since Carlos is here, now it's time to start.
Let's go.
440 is what we're up to this week on this week's agenda here. We'll look back at the Portimonense game. We'll look ahead to Vizela and Ajax, which happens a week from today. And since it's going to happen a week from today, we're actually going to be live for you on Wednesday.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it live during the game. That's why.
Live during the game. I think everyone got better things to do than being live. Well, at least I do. I don't know about you.
No, I mean, you just listen to me and find out what the prediction is. And
yeah, you don't need to watch the game.
Yeah, that's it. If it's good, don't watch. I mean,
take it all the way to the bank.
If it's good, watch. If it's bad, don't watch.
Anyway, Portimonense Benfica traveled down to the Algarve on Saturday to play Portimonense. Is it Portimonense or Portimonense?
Portimonense.
Okay. Portimonense.
It might be. I see the joke now. I got the joke.
You got the joke. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm like,
a little late to the party like Carlos. I'll give you the lineup. Vlaco Dimos was in goal. Gilberto Otamendi, Vertonghen, and Grimaldo.
So I was playing. You why'd you mute?
Is that for the starting lineup there?
No, it's
Chris?
for me. For me, when he was like Porto, and I'm like, it should have been the.
That's what it should have been.
Something like that.
Weigl interrupt in the middle, Rafa and Everton on the wings, Ramos behind Yaramchuk. So, as we found out, apparently Darwin had a gastroenterite during the week.
What is that?
It's tummy pain.
Yeah,
Gastroenterite. I don't understand. I don't freaking understand.
Carlos is a gynecologist. Do you deal a lot with those, Carlos?
Carlos, what's a gastroenterite? I think that Carlos
gastroenteritis.
I don't even know that's such a word.
Gastroenteritis.
What is it?
I don't know. I'm a
I hate it when I hate and look especially for us diarrhea. Yeah, that's yeah. You probably had some kind of food poisoning. But you know what I hate the most is that, and for us that don't live in a country that our vocabulary is not as extensive, especially in the medical terms. I hate it when they talk about somebody being hurt and they give it this fancy ass medical term.
That's what it is.
But I was just saying,
it's not their fault.
I wanted to just say that.
It's not their fault. We're stupid.
No, it isn't. But like,
tem pixilar, no muscular, da pililar. I'm like, what?
No gêmeo direito.
Yeah, what is a gêmeo?
A gêmeo. It's your calf. It's your calf muscle.
So the twins?
They
call them twins. Could be your balls. So I mean, you know what I mean? The gemmies. So your calf.
You got stepped on a gemmush. No, it's. I find myself Googling shit all the time because I don't know exactly what it means, and I kind of want to inform people on what it is and translate it for people. Otherwise, if I hadn't to do that, I would just say, okay, it is. O gajo estava a apanhar uma caganeira do cara.
Estava todo borrado.
Yeah, so because he was out of a few practice sessions during the week, Yaramchuk got the start. Otherwise, I think that Darwin on that team is probably the strongest lineup that we have. Before we get into the game, I'll ask you this, and I know that you just hit the mute button there, but I'll ask you this. consistent 11s, we obviously see this as a good thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Considering the last year and a half with all the new restrictions with COVID and players not being able to practice and teams not players teams whatever not being able to practice, these guys not getting that familiarity with one another, it takes the time to play with one another. And you see when coaches like to mess with their lineups, their consistency is not as great as those that are accustomed. Look, man, we're 11, look, everybody, como dizia o outro, o cavalo vai passar à porta de todos. But these are our strongest 11, and it's up to you to crack your way into our pecking order, and it's up to you guys that are in the starting 11 to keep up this to keep up your form in order to stay with your spot on the team, right? But it's good competitive balance. But what I'm trying to say is, the more that these guys play together, the more they're going to get used to one another, the more in rhythm they're going to get. So yeah, I would say absolutely, it's a great problem to have.
Yeah, and I completely understand the setting with COVID and everything, and obviously what I'm going to say next is not a knock on JJ, but JJ struggled to put out a consistent 11. And granted, there might have been some factors, right, that affected it, but if there was something that we saw week in week out was a different 11, and I think that, like you said, the more these guys play with each other, the more familiarity they have. But I think that it adds to some of the consistency.
But it's not just about for me. It's about the comfort zone. It's like you talking about a kid like Gonzalo Ramos who's playing now week in, week out, right? He's getting adapted to big boy football. He's getting comfortable with things around him. He's starting to gain some confidence because now he knows, look, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to get an opportunity to play again next week. So now when he misses an opportunity and he just, with JJ, he put his head down, now he picks up his head, like, on to the next. Again, and that's, I guess, a positive on Verissimo's side, and it's a negative on JJ, is that he's given these guys a little bit more leeway. He's made some changes. But at the same time, I think by allowing the players to just be themselves, and look, you play well, you're going to be in the starting lineup. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That brings up that brings a lot of confidence into the players.
And you mentioned about the changes. Do you think that a lot of his changes have been positive in your eyes?
Well, I mean, there's only one change. I know that's I got to talk about it. It starts with a 4 and it ends with a 9. But
you always get me when you say that, because I'm always waiting for a letter. Begins with a T and ends with the T.
That's too much for the mind. The number is a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, look, he started to play. I don't know, for a little while it was Lazaro. Now it looks like it's Gilberto all over again. He's still messing with the lineup a little bit. He's twinking with it a little bit. No, for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know if
Darwin up top, Ramos up top. Right?
Yeah, but
Everton's been playing. That's really been your 3 up top.
He's definitely gotten to a level of consistency in terms of his starting 11. I don't think Everton. I don't know if I think that maybe Everton did play a lot of consecutive games with JJ.
With JJ played as well, but what I'm talking about is now. Since you mentioned
now,
now he's been playing because Rafa has really taken, a step back ever since JJ left, and now he picked it up a little bit, but he's back to his inconsistencies, right? And when Darwin is healthy, it's Darwin, Ramos, and Everton. Dave, you can look up the starting lineups, but I'm pretty sure that's the 3 that he's been really running. Well, it's not even 3 because he's been playing Everton on the right, the 2 guys up top.
Ruff has been getting his run too, but he's definitely not in form despite the
I don't know why. I was just brain fart.
Yeah,
I was with the 4-3-3, and then I started naming them out. I'm like, oh shit, no, there was a 4-4-2.
He's definitely taking a lot of the guessing in terms of what 11 is going to start, and because he's been consistent with his choices for the starting 11, especially when all the guys are healthy. Let's get into this game.
But before you get into the game,
go ahead.
Sticking with the line. In the middle, he's got Bernardo, João Mario, who apparently ever since he's gotten COVID, that he's not been the same player. and Tarap. So he does have some decisions to make there. At the 6, it's always Vigo. On the left, it's who else does he have on the left? It's Everton. On the right, it's Rafa. I mean, the only other guys that really come into the conversation, unless I'm missing somebody, Dave, you can jump in whenever you want. It was Panjonovic, whatever, Renanovic, whatever his name.
That guy?
I can never say that guy's name. I mean, what other options? Gil Diaz? I mean, what other options do we really have?
doesn't. And
Easy left. That's one less guy that, yeah, at least he was there. Like, but Falzoli's play on the left, play on the right. He can play on the wings, apparently, once in a while. Who are you missing?
Yeah. and I completely agree with you. And which
You got Sferovic injured. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off. You
Seferovic-
got Rodrigo injured.
yeah,
I mean, there's
Rodrigo
not
Pena.
many. I mean, you really only have, and then what's his name? Yaremchuk, right? I think he was injured too for a little while. Then he played. Then he wasn't 100%. Now he's back. I mean, the options kind of like the only ones that you could say that he's been making a change was in the middle of the park with Tarap, and then at right back with Gilberto Carlos and Lazaro. Everything else has been the same. Those are the only guys that he's really been taking in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Dave,
Forgot what-
right? Am I right, bro?
No, you're the only
I've-
guy that you're missing there. You went through pretty much everyone except Diogo Gonçalves, but
Yeah, but he's not been an option.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
but
No,
why, that's why I forgot about him.
and for all the reasons that you just mentioned in
Hey, look,
terms of
Chorizo.
Eurico Trasher.
Thrasher, Atlanta Thrasher fan. Yeah, I mean, like you
Yeah.
just mentioned Diogo Salva as well. So
I think that in taking into consideration everything that you said in terms of there's bodies, but the quality in terms of depth is shitty. I don't know, it kind of like upsets me that we should have known, or we should know, that there's clear deficiencies in this roster, and yet we go through a winter transfer window that all we do is clean house. We could at least brought somebody. I'm not saying another right back because we already have enough, but maybe a true 6.
we needed to. And there's a true 6, and he's playing really well in Portugal. And I'm surprised Benfica didn't do everything they can to go get him in the summer.
Too much money.
Come on, bro. We throw money at I don't want to say
We're talking about Musrat.
Al Musrati. That's a true 6. That guy's a tank.
Yeah, he's a 10. He's a true 6. And look,
He's a tank. That guy in Benfica colors right now, he'd be running everybody over. He's doing this. He's having another great season at Sporting Braga.
Yeah.
That's like a 20 mil. Oh, well, bro, there's too much money, and then there's money that's too much, but guess what? It was well spent. Just like, look, I criticized Benfica at the time for throwing 25 or 27, whatever the hell it was, for Darwin, right? And now it looks like it's money well spent. But last season, it was like, oh my God, what the? You know for a fact when you spend that 20 million on Al Musrati,
you know what you're
it's
gonna
gonna
get.
be well spent. It's like going back to the beginning of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You knew that 12,000 you spent on the Honda Civic with Ferruggio all over, that shit was gonna be well worth it because it's gonna give you every mile that you're gonna get from it. So you know, look, that guy, I'm surprised that even in January, Benfica could have made a change. We know. I mean, we've known now for 2 years we need a 6.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing that upset me is that there's these glaring gaps of talent and quality in our roster, and yet we couldn't just go pick up a guy to be a 6. And I'm not saying go spend 20 million on Musrati, right? I'm not saying that. But maybe there's somebody else out there that could come and be a 6.
Well, Ugarte, Sporting went and got from, I forget what the hell it was.
Famalicão.
Famalicão. I think it was half of that. And that's a guy I think would have played at Benfica today.
Yeah.
At the 6th position. I mean, there are guys in Portugal that can probably play. I mean, there's a guy, I never liked him. I don't think he was suited for Benfica today, but I don't know if he was 6. But your guy, Dave, that's a guy that could look.
Eustáquio.
He could have came to Benfica. And
Eustáquio is not a 6.
Maybe he's not in your starting 11, but he's in a guy off the bench that would have added to the quality of your team.
I think
He's not a
Eustáquio.
6. I don't know. So if he's not a 6, then forget about it.
Yeah, I think Eustáquio has been committed to Porto for a while now. But yeah, Musrati, and look, you get Musrati, right? And granted, you might not sell him at the end of the season, right?
Why sell him? You get him, you keep him.
You keep him, but I'm saying if Benfica doesn't buy any players without the intent of I'm gonna make a shitload of money on this guy further down the road.
Problems on the roster.
But you got Musrati, right, playing for Benfica, doing well. Next season he has a tremendous year at Benfica. You sell him easily. You double that money easily.
Here's my question I got for you guys, so you could get back this because you've been trying to talk about this lineup for 20 minutes now. But I'll ask both of you guys. And you, Freddie, so Hugo just joined us. He said, "Boa noite, Malta." What's up, Hugo? Diogo, I love Diogo, and I know you want to, you're trying to play your part before you got to go to work. But come on, man. Why would you even post that question?
No, because I know where Diogo's coming from. Today there was a little blurb on the front cover of the Bola that said Veríssimo safe at least until the end of the season.
If he remains,
and then
if we come to June,
we don't know,
and he remains our coach, I'm saying it right now. You better start getting one of these. I'm not coming back on a pod next year. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I sure as hell hope that he.
I'm not coming back.
Thank you very much, Veríssimo. Thank you for taking the team till the end of the season. But goddamn, please not do this to us.
Yeah, the question I was going to pose to you guys was this: Benfica. So as you guys know, right? I'm not breaking any news to you guys here. Right? There's 2 different transfer windows, right? July to the end of August, beginning of July to the end of August, and then there's one from the month of January, right? You guys are well aware, right? It seems as if Benfica wasn't aware of that. Benfica only realized
we got a new president. He's not sure about all the rules. Maybe
Benfica only realized that there was a transfer window in January when it ended, and then they try to ship everybody out to Turkey. Before that, I was like, "Oh shit, there's a transfer window. What's that? It's a rumor." They didn't believe in it. So the question,
COVID suspended.
So, but let's just say that they did know, right? They weren't sleeping like I'm saying they are. Do you think that the fact that they didn't go to the transfer market and try to get one guy, 2 guys to plug a hole here and there is because maybe they didn't believe that this team would be within a shouting chance of catching Sporting for that second spot, at least at the very least? You think that had anything to do with it?
I mean, that should have been the focus. First place might be out of range, but at least let's put something together that would allow us to compete for second place. And God knows the points that Sporting have already lost the second half of the season, points that 4 or 5 months ago we never thought that Sporting would lose, but they have lost. If we had a half of a consistent performance, we would have been right on top of those Lagartos.
No, okay,
but Benfica doesn't use the January transfer window in the last couple of years to enforce the team. They've used it, like we've said, to get rid of some contracts. The only guy that I can think of off the top of my head that we've gotten in the last maybe 5 years is Weigl in the January transfer window. Other than that, it's been sell, or loan out.
Yeah, and they've
but hold on, Mike's saying they didn't go get guys because no
it's not gonna matter, man. A 6 is a 6.
Mike, I'm talking about getting a guy to plug a hole. I mean, maybe
we don't have a 6.
Don't go out and get Al Musrati for 20 million. I get that, but you telling me there's not a guy in Portugal, a guy in Romania, a guy in Chile? I don't freaking know, for $2-3 million that can plug for the rest of the season. I'm not talking about you need to spend 20 mil, but if you know you have a glaring weakness at a position and you have a whole month to identify him, go to the New York Red Bulls, for Christ's sake, go get Sean Davis. I don't know. There's got to be alternatives out there that don't cost 20 million.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, Mike.
I'm and not knowing all the rosters in MLS, but I'm willing to bet there's at least a 6 in MLS that could play at Benfica. Maybe not a world beater or a world class guy, but
they could fill it in with guys from the B team if they absolutely.
And the B team. Here's the thing with the B team, Dave. The B team is composed of a lot of young kids. Most of those kids are still juniors, so it's way too green for them to even come out to the A team. And Cristiano was saying, as a result of Weigl's absence, they had brought the one kid from the B team to train with the main team, which I forget his name now. Brito, right? But this 6th position, we've been absent or orphan of a 6 for a couple seasons now.
What was the last one? Feja.
Yeah, a true 6.
Was it
because
Florentino?
Florentino was never.
Somebody's
Yeah. Gabriel wasn't a 6.
That's what Frazier was the last one.
Fraser was the last one. I got a true 6.
True 6.
Fraser, because Maite is not a 6, as we all know, and even Verissim's already said it. Weigl is not a 6. Tarab's not a 6. Romar's not a 6. Paul Bernard is not a 6. We don't have a 6.
And that's what I'm saying. And Mike is reiterating his point about they didn't want to give him a guy that maybe the new coach. Bro, again, Mike, you could get a guy on loan for 6 months. All right. There's ways of doing business where you're not investing millions of dollars or euros. So it just, to me, it's lazy.
Mike,
That's it.
I find it very hard that a coach wouldn't take Musrati, especially.
No, but I get Mike what he's saying.
I understand.
If they're planning on bringing a new coach, I
right,
want to spend
so-
$20 million on a guy
yeah.
that the new coach might say, yeah, I don't want this guy. But now, I don't see many coaches are going to come to Portugal and say, hey, look, I don't like this guy because he's a tank,
But
right?
yeah,
But I'll give Mike the benefit of the doubt. But you telling me that there's not other guys throughout Brazilian football, Argentinian football, whatever, bro, the world, right? And plus, JJ had left. He took his server. That
he
explains.
took his server. All the research is. But here's the thing, Mike.
That explains it.
And here's the thing, right? If they don't want to bring Musrati because they're expecting a coach, for me, that coach should have already been identified. And if you don't want to announce him or whatever, you should already have a coach and you should already be working on next season.
Yeah, and if it's something that you need a 6 and a coach, and let's just say, and I don't think they have a coach, Alfredo, but let's just say they did, right? Going according to what you're saying.
Lincoln is a good call.
I do. I'm the one that told him that. He thinks he's smart. I tell him that when he calls me every day. Nice coming to try to sound smart in the chat. But if, let's just say, play your theory out, right? That they've already identified a coach that's willing to take over in June. You'd sit around and if you had, and I don't think Braga was going to sell him, but just to go along with your point, if you have an opportunity to go get an Al Musrati, you turn to that coach and say, look, before we invest $20 million on this guy, is this someone that fits your system, fits your criteria? This is your tactical.
So clearly they don't have a coach.
No, I'm saying, but they could have done that.
They could have.
I'm not saying
I
they
wish they
clearly
would have.
don't, but I'm saying they could have. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't mean just because the coach is coming in that they couldn't have gone in and said, look, yo, what's up? You like this guy? No? All right, forget it. We'll just teams. You like him? All right, then, we'll do what we got. There's just, bro, this is a glaring weakness. Everybody knows we need a 6. Now, if it's a player, you got to spend a lot of money. Fantastic. If it's a player, you got to spend a little money. Fantastic. What I'm saying is you don't have to do either. You could very well spend $500,000 to get a player on loan for 6 months that at least stabilizes that position. It gives you a little bit more garantias going forward.
Yeah, Chico, I think Samuel Lina's already promised to somebody. I don't even know. I don't even think he belongs.
No,
to,
he's someone
Gilles.
who went to is it
Atletico,
Liverpool. He went to a big team, a Liverpool.
And I don't even
Is
know
it
if he's a
it might
6. To be honest with you,
Yeah, but he
I
went
think
to
he's like a winger
is
or
it-
a forward.
Dave. Is it Atletico Madrid or Liverpool? I think he's already got.
Atletico.
He's got a big agreement.
Yeah, it's Atletico.
He's got an agreement with one of those big teams already.
Dave, check out to see because somebody
there
was.
it is. So dice Atletico. So yeah, it is.
Yeah, check out what Musrati has left on his contract.
2024.
2020. All right. So Diogo Reis said we could get him on the cheap at the end of his contract. You still got to wait till 2024.
It's only 2 more years.
Yeah,
Oh.
but by then o gajo já está com 35 anos.
El Careca já tá.
So anyway,
And Lino is the left wing.
yeah, he is.
whatever.
He is.
But I do like Lincoln and Al Musrati. And
I
Hugo's
do
trying
like
to sound
Lincoln.
Smart. I told him this.
I do like Lincoln. I do like Lincoln. I like that guy from the team that Gil Vicente with Pedrinho. I thought he was. I liked him. I've seen him a couple times now, and I have liked him. Pedrinho. I don't know how old he is, but he's a guy that plays there in the midfield also. Anyway,
Sim, não precisamos disso. Calma.
no, but I agree with Hugo.
Tommy.
We haven't invested in the domestic market as much as we should. You see Sporting, they've gotten players domestically, and they've done very well. What?
Are we going back to
Ugarte?
Sporting back-to-back pods?
But I'm just saying that it just shows the
Tiveram uma sorte do caralho.
how lost. Nah, sorte do caralho.
Tiveram uma sorte do caralho. Onde é que eles estão este ano com esses gajos todos? They're 1 point ahead of all bum asses. Obrigado.
Yeah. No, but
Are they 1 point ahead of us?
I don't know.
Four.
I have,
Plus 4. Oh, that's right. I could have no. They were 1 before they played, and then they played. Tá bem, tem razão, tem razão.
yeah. All right, getting back to the game. We're giving up a goal in the 25th minute. A play from Tarabt that the defense was poorly positioned, and 2 against 1 couldn't really take
But I'm
away the
trying to
passing
thread the
lane.
needle, but what were our center backs doing?
But here's the thing, right? I can't even. And look, you could see that I wrote in my notes here because you're always praising Tarabt, and I tend to try to temper your excitement for Tarabt. But I wrote something here on my notes as I'm watching the game. Giveaway by Tarabt. Two center backs couldn't recover. 2v1. And I think, look, I understand that the team is positioned on the field to attack, right? So the fullbacks are very wide. Weigl was next to Tarap, so he wasn't even behind Tarap to give him a passing lane. And I think that the 2 center backs are a little wide. But from the time that we turn over the ball to the time that the pass is made, that center forward made a run in between the 2 center backs, and the 2 center backs couldn't react.
You know why? You know
They're
why that
slow.
was? No. Besides slow, there was something that you taught. You taught. You were taught at 9 years old not to do as a center back. Do you recall what that was?
Don't leave your mark.
Don't ball watch.
Don't ball watch.
And they were ball watching. They were clearly ball because they weren't aware of because if they weren't ball watching, they would have been aware of their distance. They would have been more compact. They were just, and again, maybe they didn't expect the genius Tarap to make such a dumb turnover. I'm joking with that, obviously, but maybe didn't expect Tarap to make such a little kid mistake, right? That was dumb on his part.
Yeah.
And they were called ball watch, but at the end of the day, they were still ball watching.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it came down to. And then by the time, like, oh shit, it was too late.
Yeah, I mean, Chris and I were watching the highlights of the game before, and the guy has time to get himself into that channel in between the 2 center backs, and Otamendi was too slow in reading the run. And I think that you got to look at Otamendi as being partly at fault. Look, the thing with that, and everybody knows, he's a guy that could thread the needle better than anyone on this team, right? He could find the passes that people don't find. But within that risk factor, there may come consequences. So we have to kind of get used to that, because if he's a guy that's going to go above and beyond to create a pass, to find a passing lane, to find a guy between defenders or behind the defenders, you also have to be prepared that sooner or later, some of those passes might get intercepted. And this was the case. I can't fault that up completely for this, but certainly when you have that up, that's the risk you take.
It's not just that up, bro. Look, it's anybody. In this point, look, Tarap turns the ball over a lot. We see it, we get it. But just to say Tarap doesn't excuse our center backs from, 1, ball watching, 2, not being able to read the play and not being able to react. So I mean, look, they say, coaches say a lot of times, no goals or any man's fault. This is a team game. Yeah. And look, they were all at fault. It is what it is. But let's just hope it's a mistake that doesn't occur too many times here.
Yep. Yeah. So and then this is one of the strangest halves of football that I have seen.
It might be the longest.
Definitely the longest, right? So
not even Porto be getting that time of at a time. Nos anos 90, pá.
Era até marcado.
Deus tem razão, Benfica manda nisto tudo.
Era até marcado. No, look, 30th minute, obviously, if you guys have been keeping up with everything, the No Name Boys just celebrated their 30th birthday or anniversary, I should say, a couple days back. So naturally, there was always going to be a demonstration of that, right? So in the 30th minute, obviously 30th minute, 30 years, there was a bunch of torches or flares that were
I don't like those words. I like the word pyros. I like that. They right? Pyro sounds more elegant.
Yeah, and look, there was people saying that the timing sucks because your team is losing, and all of a sudden you're creating a break in the game when the team could probably use that time to gather momentum. But the celebration was planned. Whether Benfica was winning 5-0, whether Benfica was losing 3-0,
It was kind of like
that
the water
celebration
break.
was
It's like
was
in 30
planned.
minutes you get a water break.
A hydration break.
You get some laranjas.
But and there was a lot of people saying, we love pyros, and
do, I do.
I love pyros as much as Cristiano. But the thing is that keep the pyros in the stands, man, or in a place where it's not going to
Yeah,
interfere
there's
with
no
the
need.
game.
There's no need to throw it into a game.
I think that's my biggest
But
gripe.
I guess. Look, if you're gonna get the attention, is by doing what? Stopping the game. Now you get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's a special occasion. It's 30 years. It's a long time. It's older than you almost. It's a long time, and they wanted the world to know. But yeah, I'm with you. Look, man, I've had this conversation.
Yeah.
With these guys. Look, you sometimes we have to control what we do, and as you said, they could have just held it, and and
I can't defend what the pyros, Michael. I understand the celebration was gonna happen, but the thing that I have the problem with is with them being thrown on the field. For that, I'm not defending that. They could have done that in the stands. There's other ways to celebrate in the stands, but I think that once you interfere with the game, I think then that's when I have a problem. So
Oh, they got fined today 10,000. Sporting got 3,000. Wow,
having them on the stands fine, but throwing them on the field is ridiculous. I agree with you. I agree with you.
What did
Sporting
why
got
did Sporting get 3,000?
what's for the same thing. They did it against Porto.
So how come they get 3 and we get 10?
Yeah, because maybe we got temos mais sócios.
And they got Sporting's got the most sources, and they got 10 million. 10 million sources. They all pay the banks.
Yeah.
Sporting to give Produnado for
Yeah, like I was saying, strange half of football, and then within that moment, also there was a ball boy that fell, that they had to interrupt the game so the ball boy could be seen by the
Why did
physios.
he fall? We got hit with a flare.
I think that he tripped on something as he was jumping or something, and he wasn't feeling too well. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was
Still aos bombeiros.
foram lá os
Só
guys.
ficam.
Foram lá os guys, but Verissimo had to stop the game. And he told the players to go to the locker room. It's ridiculous, man, because
To the little boy.
no, because of the flares.
The ball boy happened first, and then the flares happened.
Oh yeah, that's what it was,
Yeah.
right, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a strange half of a football match that I've watched. 16 minutes, I believe, were added on, and we actually got our tying goal by Grimaldo off of a feed from Tarap, a shot outside the box. How surprised are you for that? But yeah,
Come on, Alfred, you're gonna give him credit for outside the box.
no. What I'm saying is that I've always said in this podcast that Benfica doesn't shoot enough outside the
Yeah,
box.
but he's got like 10 goals and like 9 of them are outside the box.
Yeah, but some of them are. He's got 6 goals. You just read Dave's stats. He's got 6
I
goals.
don't remember the exact number. Though.
And probably 3 of them are free kicks, and the rest of them outside the box. But I'm saying I saw a concerted effort by Benfica to try to shoot more outside the box, which is, it annoys me to no end when they try to do those combinations inside the box 1-2 with so many guys there and they never get through. So yeah, so Grimaldo Grimaldo scored what in the 52nd minute, and then we scored our second goal in the
49th.
in the 50th minute.
No, it was the 49th.
50th.
Well,
Whatever. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 49th.
Yeah, so go figure that.
So he scored in 52nd. Did it count in the first half? Did it say 52nd?
It said 45 plus
12.
plus 7.
Oh, 52nd. Yeah. I'm so stupid.
Yeah, so it's
I'm really good with math. But
yeah, but another really miserable half by Benfica. The saving grace was obviously that one goal before the half, which kind of sets up the second half nice, and then we come out and in a better spirit, if you will, and we get the go ahead goal in the 50th minute. Ramos putting away an incomplete save by the keeper from half a cross.
It wasn't a
And
cross. It was a shot. I think he tried to shoot it on goal.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was on goal. And the goalkeeper parried away. It was an incomplete
Was it?
save. He parried
It
it to
looked
the
like
side.
a cross to me.
And
I'm gonna make you watch the highlights again to see if it's a
I
shot.
think it was a shot. Dave, you come out. Tú és
I'm
o
watching
Espírito
it. I'm
Temas.
watching it right now.
Tú és
Hey,
o
well,
Espírito Temas.
tell us.
That's a shot.
It's a
It's
shot.
a shot. It's a shot.
It's a shot,
Keeper
yeah.
should have had it.
Yo, Dave.
It was a shot that was going.
Second post, far post,
Second
far
post.
post. Dave,
I think it was going off the sideline.
are you shocked, Dave? I'm right again. I mean, yo,
We're just gonna call him Mr. Right going forward.
Cristiano, forget the 10.
Number one bullshit guy. So anyway, and I think that the rest of the game we just controlled the game. There was a little bit of flair from Portimonense, but nothing that would trouble
The second half, Portimonense clearly tried to go for
Try to go, but
they try to go. They try to get another 2-2, guys.
They had one shot on goal, and it was the goal.
Okay,
The rest of them went off the mark.
so what? But they had that one clearly inside
put-
near the 6. And they
Put
had
it over the goal.
look, just because the shot don't go on goal doesn't mean it's not a scoring opportunity. They created the more dangerous chances in the second half. Benfica once again, Tavali, I think they just wanted to get my score right, 2-1, and just move on to the next. Because they clearly did not want to go for more in the second half.
Yeah. Dave, the biggest thing about this game really was the result, to be honest with you. And now there's 9 games
3
left in the
points.
season. What are overall feelings on the game, Dave?
3 points. But I thought it was the other way around. I thought we were more susceptible to getting goals scored against us in the first half than in the second half. Once we had that lead, I felt a little bit more comfort there. And I know everybody's been piling on the pyros being thrown on the field, but really it was a different team even before the second half. As soon as the 10-minute stoppage for the pyros off the field, you can tell that Benfica kind of got that break and was really pushing forward and trying to get that goal before the first half. So that break benefited the team in a positive way. We got the goal before halftime, got a little bit of a rest there at halftime, and then got another one quickly right after. But at no point there in the second half was I worried about conceding another goal. If anything, I was hoping Benfica would put another one back, so we didn't have to hear Chris celebrate his scoreline, and we would have gotten my 3-1 scoreline correct there. But I wasn't nervous at all there in the second half after that second goal was scored. I thought there was, if anything, Benfica was going to score another one or two.
Yeah. I wasn't nervous either, but I don't know if it's because I'm desensitized with watching these Benfica games, or just that I just felt like, oh well, it is what it is. If they scored, nothing unexpected from the way the season is going. Dave, put on that. Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Chico Marcelino said, I would like to ask Chris if he agrees that Gonçalo Ramos should play more inside the box and not dropping so much to get the ball. He is the best finisher we have, I believe. What do you think, Cristiano? While Cristiano thinks about the answer, I could tell you right now, Chico, that if Gonçalo Ramos is not playing in this position, he's not playing. And I'll tell you why. The amount of work that Gonçalo Ramos puts in terms of coming back, defending, going forward, pressuring guys, being here, being there, is what's been able to secure him some minutes in this team. So I don't know if inside the box he's better, but I don't think he would have been the first choice to be the one guy up front. That's what I think. Obviously, there's the familiarity that he has with Veríssimo. Veríssimo knows where he could get the most out of him. But I just think that the work rate that Gonçalo Ramos has put in, and we all have ragged on him for missing sitters or missing nice opportunities to score. But the thing that's securing his spot right now, and that's also helped with his confidence, is his work rate and what he's able to give the team in terms of that. So that has kind of guaranteed him 11 after 11, and I think that also has helped with his confidence. What do you think, Chris?
I don't think he's the best finisher on the team. But look, kid's playing well, as you mentioned, and I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago when Dave was on a rampage, just ripping everything in front of him. I said the one thing about Gonzalo Ramos that we could all praise is his work ethic. The guy's out there and he gives it his all. He's due to his constant movement on and off the ball. The guy's always finds himself just like this weekend. Hey, he's just trailing the play. Ali acompanhar a jogada. The goalie incompletes the save, falls right to his foot, taps it in. I mean, that's a fantastic finish if that's what you go by. Look, he's doing enough. He's doing what he has to do to get that opportunity. And as I mentioned before, the harder you work, the more this coach seems like he's going to give you an opportunity, and he's making the most of it. So credit to Gonzalo Ramos. I think as long as he keeps doing that, and he's going to be playing. Coaching staff clearly in the club as well, they clearly want to give these kids an opportunity, and as long as he keeps providing these goals and providing this work ethic as he's been doing of late, he's going to get plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, no, I agree with Mike is saying. He's more of our third midfielder than he is our second forward, to be honest with you, for the amount that he tracks back and the amount of room that he covers defending and balancing the team. But yeah,
I think, bro.
And Shuk, I don't think we've gotten most out of Shuk yet.
I'm just gonna say this, and we'll just keep moving on. Don't even pay no attention. But bro, it is depressing to what level our fans, what level the exigência from our fans is dropped to. It is, to me, worrisome. We'll just keep. Let's just keep. I don't want to talk.
But olha lá.
Exigência today is like, bro. I don't want to talk about this because I'm gonna get aggravated.
Tu vais a uma discoteca, e só tá mulheres 5 estrelas, right?
Isso é bom.
E vais a outra discoteca e só tá assim gajas mais feias, assim gajas um bocadinho mais para avantajado. Here's the thing. I think that the quality of players that the club has provided us with or have signed in the past few years, I think that the level of exigência has dropped as a result of that.
No, it's
because we're all aware.
I don't think so. I think
there's limitations.
I don't. I think it's due to the fact that everybody's in this illusion that every kid that's going to come out nowadays is going to be João Felix.
Okay, but
and so then you stopped investing in what you should. Bro, again, like I said, let's keep it on this game. You and I will talk about this all fair. I don't want we
talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
but I'm just referring. I'm not referring to the guys that come from the B team. I'm referring to just the whole roster in general. The quality of our roster has dropped dramatically in the past few years. Would you say is a fair statement?
Realistically, since JJ left, and that was
correct.
One of the biggest reasons when he left the first. Yes, it was. Since JJ left,
Vitoria's first year, we still had. It was
you had the team there, but you weren't investing.
It was after that.
You said investing. That. Since JJ left, the team is we invested a shitload a couple of years ago, not properly.
Nothing.
But there was a gap of not investing for 4 years, and then they invested. They threw everything at the wind that 1 year, which was last off season, 2 years ago now, 2020. Pre-COVID, no, 2019, right? It was like for 319, that pre-COVID, right before everybody was even aware of what was going on. They threw all that money, to the wind. It's now some of these players like Darwin, right, is finally coming of age, and he's playing really well. He's scoring goals. He's become a really important player for Benfica. But for a while there was no investment, and they stopped. I still believe they stopped investing in other players because now they think that they got these players that could come up and vão fazer o papel deles.
Yeah, you're saying that, and I'm thinking about Darwin, but Darwin doesn't even start when we have Jonas, when we have Mitra Blue.
I know, but dude,
he doesn't even touch. He doesn't even touch the ball.
Gaetan on the left. He'd come off the bench.
And that's why I'm saying I think that because the quality has dropped so much, I think our expectations too have kind of dropped because we've identified the limitations of the roster and a lot of these guys. That's my feeling. But we need to get back to
Bro, but
buying the right
we're looking to the kids
guys.
because we can't afford the kid. We can't. If we just spent $100 million last year, what do you mean we can't afford? And again, every kid doesn't have to cost you $25 million, guys. Everybody's always looking at a good player has to have a value of 20 plus. That's not true. You can get players on the cheap that are good players and develop them to the next. When Benfica went and got Di Maria, for example, they didn't pay no $20 million for Di Maria. And I know it's different times, but there are kids that you can go get that you don't have to break the bank to get these guys.
Yeah, but we also went on a period where we were getting a lot of lottery guys out of Brazil. Most of them really turned out to be garbage, or Brazil or Uruguay or whatever. Most of them turned out to be garbage. But it goes back to what Hugo was saying. There's a lot of there's not a lot, but there's some talent within the domestic market that we have the luxury of being able to see these players week in, week out. And I think that Benfica should be concentrated on that. Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
There needs to be a balance. It can't be just Portuguese, just Brazilian, just Italian, just Jamaican. It has to be a balance.
Our scouting department sucks.
Ever since that, what's his name? The Dubutu? Botu. He left. He went to Shakhtar, right?
He went to Shakhtar.
Ever since he left, our scouting has really dipped. Right?
Yep.
Maybe our kids, look, we're signing. You talk about, and this is funny because you could get so much deeper into this, right? Because you talk about, well, Benfica's buying a lot of lottery tickets from Brazil, and a lot of them didn't pan out, right? Well, I guarantee you, it's not as many as Portuguese kids that they have in every single age group and come up, and they have 200 kids playing in the youth level, and only 3 or 4 of those really make it. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, I don't care where you're coming from. I want the best prospect, the best player to be ready to play for Benfica, regardless of where he comes from.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I'm just taking a look at the roster overall. I'm not even including the Seychelles in it. I just think that there needs to be a mix, and it can't. Players like Felix, like not Sanchez, they're like one a generation, or two a generation.
No, but they come.
We got
those
lucky.
Guys, yeah, those guys, bro. We went from, what's his name? Getz, right? I think Getz was already there. Renato showed up.
Mhm.
Then you had a little gap, right? Then you brought up Diaz. You brought up Ferro, who's playing really well. But, and Diaz wasn't even lights out at Benfica. The guy's definitely taking the next step by far. But then you brought up the genius in João Felix. And then it was supposed to be Jota. And it was supposed to be, all of a sudden, they were all going to be superstars.
Yeah. Well, there was... when a generation goes to the final of the UEFA Youth League, you got to think that there's a couple players at least that have chances of making the A team. I just read something today on a ball or whatever it was.
Smith too, you mentioned.
Yeah, there was
I love him.
The ages of 15 and 16 or 15 and 18. Benfica is supplying the most players to the national team.
Yeah, but Sporting used to do that.
Yeah, but it's encouraging.
Used to do that all the time. And how many titles Sporting won in 20-year gap? Okay, thank you. Bro, those are, he said, we're celebrating little victories. It's fantastic. Like for years, our whole lifetime, we've been getting Sportingistas mocking us because, a seleção nacional é feita de Sportingistas. Olha, o núcleo de Sporting. Look at the youth ranks, right? True now. For how many years have we been getting hit with that? And it's like, bro, good. How many titles are winning for your club? So it's fantastic. Benfica, look, I want every single Benfica player at whatever youth level to be on the national team, to be phenomenal. I want all these kids to be great. We just have to be realistic.
Yeah, I agree. Dave, what stats do you have on this game so we could move on? Chris did tell us to move on, but we got stuck.
1 hour on a game that we thought we had nothing to speak about here. But
we really didn't say much about the game.
Grimaldo, with his 6th goal of the season, now leads the league in goals scored by a defender with 5 goals. Like we made mention of, 4 of his 6 goals this season have come from outside of the box. And Ramos with the game winner in the 50th minute, his 6th goal of the season, and his 5th goal in the last 9 matches since Nelson Veríssimo has taken over.
Yeah. So our predictions for this game, Dave had 3-1 Benfica. I had 2-0 Benfica, and Chris had 2-1 Benfica, which he predicted correctly. Next up, Vizela, Friday at Stadio Luge, 8:15 kickoff, local, obviously. What's Vizela up to this year, Dave?
They're currently in 14th with 24 points from 5 wins, 9 draws, 11 defeats. Given up the fourth most goals this season with 43 goals against through 25 games. They've scored 27 through 25 games. They haven't won since January 30th against Guimarães, going 2 draws and 3 spells, or 3 defeats during that spell. Historically, we've won all 5 previous meetings between the two clubs, but in October we needed a last-minute goal from Rafa in the 98th minute to secure a 1-0 victory.
Yep. Yurik wants who the man in the match is.
I guess last question of Benfica Portimonense. We moved on, but
We really don't do the man of the match here because I think that
but I'll do it.
all the rest of the podcasts do that pretty well. Who's your man of the match?
Gonçalo Ramos.
You want me to give you choices?
Gonçalo Ramos. Yeah.
Rafa, Gonçalo Ramos, Tarabt,
I'm gonna go Gonçalo Ramos because he got the game-winning goal.
and
Tarapt's man of the match?
Grimaldo.
Even with that fumble, I was watching. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I was watching the game. Mas tinha olho fechado e olho aberto.
Yeah,
And
I think for me is probably Gonçalo Ramos. What about you, Dave?
I'm trying to remember back. I'll go with Grimaldo there.
Yeah,
trying
I
to
think Grimaldo and Gonçalo Ramos had a good game. I guess you could say Rafa too, but Rafa's been so inconsistent this year, and he's just a mirror of who this Benfica has been. They plays for 45 minutes, and in the other 45 minutes he goes missing. Even if it's 45 minutes, sometimes he only shows up for 15, 20 minutes. Rafa.
Yeah.
All right, Vizela, away from their stadium, 2 wins, 4 ties, 6 losses, as they've mentioned, 5 matches historically between the two teams, 5 wins for Benfica. Benfica outscoring Vizela 14-3 in these 5 matches. And as they've mentioned also, the first round in Vizela, we squeaked out a 1-0 win with the game, with a goal in 90 plus 3, if I'm not mistaken, by Rafa. Off
It was like
of a feeder.
98th, no?
Could be.
Was it 98 day?
Was it
98.
It was like
Yeah.
It was
really.
98?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. I
Rafa,
remember Benfica strong. Like we had no business winning that game. They played attractive football. I remember us sitting here and saying they control the game. Yo, where's this coach with the boy? Now my man's got this whole down
the
pack.
boy in the barba.
Yo, they played well. They played. If you like, it's
It was. I think it was unjust.
It's
I
so
think they
sad.
deserved more.
I'm
than
surprised they
than that.
haven't taken points away from the other big clubs, but
Dave, there's that coach José Lebonnet or whatever frick his name is. There's a strong connection there to Porto. So anytime these teams play against Benfica or any team for that matter,
Maduro is a different level.
there's always there's always an extra level of motivation.
But Benfica should absolutely handle their business now. This is a team that's been struggling of
100%.
late. Benfica should slap them at home. And that's not to say that Benfica's been playing really well of late, but they're on a high. You know, they've had positive results one after another. Now they have an opportunity to play well, go into a very important game in Amsterdam with their confidence at an all-time high. I expect Benfica to come play at the Stadio de Luz. Fans will be there supporting them. I believe it's going to be, I'm on the side. I don't know if it's 3-0 or 4-0, but I still have to make up my mind. But I'm juggling those two yet, between 3 or 4.
Yeah, and don't forget that game against Vizela that we were just talking about in the first round comes after the loss to Portimonense, which was JJ's first loss.
That's
So a
And then
very
at home, then we went on a road and
very delicate, a very delicate time, and I think that's when we really started seeing the fragilities of this squad during that time. Dave, since Chris is thinking about his prediction. You want some time also?
I'll go. I'll say 4-1.
Epa. I'm gonna say 3-0.
I can't pick 3-0.
You could pick 3-0.
I'm
I figure I'd go with you. I have
Some-
more sense of
there-
chance
there-
of success.
Something is pulling me to 4, but I don't know. I'm gonna stick with 3.
3-0.
Yeah, but the sun's pulling me to 4. There's a 4 in there somewhere, but
I'm gonna change mine.
I'm gonna say 3-0.
I'm gonna say 3-1.
3-0.
Cristiano's gonna go 3-0.
3-0, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what the line is for a 3-0 score line, but the I gotta find a magic name for you. What's be a good magic name for Cristiano?
Nada, isso não
Sure.
engana as pessoas. Não engana as
Não
pessoas.
enganes as pessoas.
Não engana as pessoas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Benfica will carry this.
Do you,
this form into this game? At the start, the lose fans will turn out once again. They want to send off the boys with the valiant applause into Amsterdam.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I wanted to ask you, right? So obviously, first place, I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point with 9 games to go, right? Making it to the next round of the Champions League in terms of the financial impact, it has a financial impact. I don't know how, if we get past Ajax, I don't know how far we could go past that. But certainly, do you think that the Ajax game will have a bigger priority than the Vizela game? And do you think that would serve as a distraction?
Oh, that's a good point. Good question, I should say. Now, look, I think, I think this coaching staff is, as much as I'm not a fan, I think they'll get these guys ready. I think they'll have them ready to play at home. I think once they step onto the field, they see the fans. I think they'll understand this is an important game. But look, wearing a Benfica shirt, we understand that every game is an important game. Whether it's Taça da Liga, whether it's Champions League, every game you play at Benfica is a big game, and the pressure is always on. And I think they'll be ready for it, Alfredo. But yeah, I think if you had to ask me, se o Benfica vai perder destes jogos, quais é que queres? Perda na sexta-feira.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Dave, what do you think? You think that that this Vizela game, understanding that Vizela is in 14th place, could be a little bit of a
trap game?
Trap game. Yeah. Do you think that they'll have the eyes off the ball?
I hope not. But unfortunately, we've seen the other side of what this squad can put us fans through. But I'm hoping for a nice, confident result. Get some early goals quickly, and that can hopefully set the tone for the rest of the game. Maybe get some guys some rest, make some substitutions at the 60th minute mark to get some guys some rest going into the Ajax game, but get some nice quick goals right off the top, and we can set up shop the rest of the game.
Yeah, Carlos says, Chris, the Nostradamus.
Yeah,
I think if you get this one right, I think you're gonna have to be nicknamed. Somebody's gonna have to baptize you. Nhaga, o Nhaga dos pobres.
Bruxo. I think. Look, I just think Benfica come in on a better form. The other team's struggling of late. Benfica, it seems to be a different team when they play at home.
I don't know
when they're on the roll.
On the roll.
No, when they're on the roll. On the roll. When they're on a roll, don't jogar bem. When they're good,
you got to jogar bem.
No, but they're coming off. They're coming off positive results, and I think Benfica can build off of that. I think right now the players' confidence is high. I really do. I look at that team, and I know we didn't play.
It's definitely rising.
It is.
I don't know about high.
I don't. Well, I mean, look, you're coming off a game, a 2-2 draw at home with a team that not a lot of people give you a realistic chance, and that and then they carried on to another to another game. And I know they didn't play lights out, but again, a win is a win. It's a character builder. It's a confidence builder. I think this team right now is on an upward stride. Sporting, is within an arm's reach. I know still 4 points is two results away, but there's some positive things happening around this team right now.
Yeah. I agree with you. There's definitely some positives because you're getting the results, albeit ugly. But somebody was saying that there was actually it was I believe it was, I forget who it was. But the comment was up, and they were saying that Rafa and Darwin are going to be key, and understanding that Ajax is going to give us some room. Especially in the back, not so much. They'll press high, but in the back there'll be some room for Rafa and Darwin. And I think that's where we can
but it's
we
always
can
the
beat
same
them.
thing. It's always like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
a good team.
the game against Ajax will happen this upcoming Tuesday, a week from today, as we record this. Since tying Benfica, Ajax lost to the Go Ahead Eagles. They beat AZ Alkmaar, and they beat Walvik. Walvik last
New
weekend.
Jersey, Warwick, New Jersey.
Yeah. In the 90th minute, they got the 3-2 result in the 90th minute against Volvic. This weekend, they will play 8th place Camber this Friday. So they'll have the same amount of rest as Benfica. Do you guys want to give a prediction to this game, for this game?
Eu não estou pronto.
Não estás pronto?
No.
Okay, one game at a time, I guess, right?
It dictates.
Yeah.
It does. A lot of things, hang in the balance.
Yeah, look, for me, the thing is, I think just the team has to go and kind of play without any inhibitions. I think you just have to play. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that the squad has enough to beat this Ajax team. Understanding that Ajax are going to be home, crowd is going to be with them. We have to be smart. Try to hold them. First 20, 25 minutes are going to be important to hold them. Hopefully after that, you get a little bit of a balance the game, take a little bit of the crowd out of the game. And then maybe the second half, we can make a push as Ajax comes further up the field. I think that it's our game to lose, to be honest with you.
I can say this much: I'm not a fan, wasn't a fan, and I'm still not a fan of them taking away the away goals. Right? But in this instance, it benefits Benfica clearly because if you go into this game, Ajax tie 2-2 on the road, it's going to be a very
0-0 result would have done it.
Yeah, I mean anything. 1-1.
Yeah,
would have done it. And so, would have put Benfica in a totally different predicament than one we're facing here going into this game next week. But yeah, I mean, look, I say it over and over. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. I clearly remember years ago when we played, I believe it was Bayern Munich, Alfredo. And you and I and Dave and Steve at the time were doing a podcast. And I remember going like on a rant or some shit. Like, I get it, we're playing, but this is Benfica. We should always play our Benfica. We should never be intimidated by anybody. We should always try to implement our game. And I understand, but at the time, the gap wasn't even as great as it is now.
There's that level of expectations that you have compared to what exists.
Just Benfica should always play, should always come into a stadium, no matter who the opponent is, to win a game. Now, obviously, it seems from then to now, the gap between the quality and the depth of squads, the elite squads, has grown. It's gotten even wider. So now I understand, going into Manchester City, going into Bayern Munich, going into Liverpool. I get it. You have to, temper your expectations. Like, about cuidadinho because wrong step, 11-8. You know what I mean? But I don't think Ajax is that type of team. I think that they're clearly better than Benfica, but I don't see that huge gap between the two clubs. I do think that they're favored going into this game. They're favored going into this game. They're playing at home. I understand that Benfica, if you match up their roster player by player, doesn't match up to theirs. But I still do think Benfica has a fighter's chance. I
Yeah.
really do.
No, I'm with you.
I can't really get, because to me, a lot of what I will look for going into this game on Tuesday, I have to see a positive result. You know what I mean? I don't want it, like as Dave mentioned, it's clearly, it's clearly a trap game. But I'm hoping that Benfica overcomes that. But I need to see the type of performance that they put in, because I think confidence will have a lot to do going into this game. So that's why right now, and I'm not even trying to be softy. I'm not trying. I can't really. I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing 2-1. Right? I just don't know which way yet. I just need to. I need to see how Benfica plays on Friday.
Yeah. Now, Dave, what are your thoughts on the game, man? What's your gut telling you?
I was gonna go 1-2. I don't know. I'm call me a lunatic or what, but I'm getting some positive vibes from this team at this moment, which is crazy considering about 2-3 weeks ago, me and you, Alfredo, were sitting here, or how much were Benfica were gonna lose by. It wasn't that they were gonna win; it was how much they were gonna lose by. But I think that that first leg gave this team some confidence. So I'm going to go with a 1-2 score line, and Benfica goes through to the next round.
Yeah, I see Kevin here say Benfica wins 1-0. I don't see Benfica keeping a clean sheet in that game.
Yeah. That's tough, man. Especially against Ajax, who will create opportunities and has players that can make a difference up front. The Brazilian kid on the wing. What's that other guy? Higher?
No, the hater, whatever his name is. Yeah,
Hater,
whatever his name is.
Yeah, that guy, that dude up front.
The one that scored 5 against Sporting.
The one that scored 2 against us.
Holler.
And one of them was in his own goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Ajax has the firepower. I think that I want to say 1-1, and then Benfica takes it in the prolongament. It's going to be an epic night in Amsterdam.
So it can't be 1-1. It's got to be some type of result, Alfredo.
1-1.
Well, but we're doing for the betting houses, right?
No, but 1-1, and then what? Then it goes to penalties and we win?
No, if you play on DraftKings, it's the end of regular time result.
I know, but so you're saying Benfica takes it into overtime
1-1, and then Benfica wins and
so it's 2-1.
Yeah.
No, but by the betting, it would.
Who cares
be
about
1-1.
betting? We're not doing betting. We're giving our palpit on the game.
I think that Benfica manages to win in extra time.
So 2-1 then. It's
Epic
not
night.
1-1.
Yeah, could be.
What do you mean could be? So 3-1? 4-1?
It could be 3-2.
I think it's going to be goals.
There's definitely going to be goals.
I just can't. I can't see Benfica scoring.
Yeah, I just think that the way we finished off this game against Ajax at Stade Luge and the way we played in that second half should give the team some confidence in terms of playing this Ajax team, albeit in the Netherlands, right? Because my belief was that Benfica respected Ajax way too much in the first half of the game at Stade Luge. I think the second half, something was said at the halftime saying, "Hey, you don't have to be afraid of these guys. Let's take the game to these guys. You got the crowd behind you."
There was a little of that, but remember they had a 2-1 lead, and with them a 2-1 was good enough. So I think they let Benfica play as well. They said, "Look, if they could get it, credit to them, but we don't believe they can." That's it off for it, and then Benfica got it because you see once Benfica leveled things, they started to press us as well, and all of a sudden we couldn't even get out of our half.
Yeah. Kevin is saying Audi will be lights out, even though he doesn't catch the ball often.
I just want to throw a quick shout out to Sheik Marcelino and Mike. They were going back and forth, and I just wanted to say, if my opinion matters in this case, Sheik, I agree with you. Mike, you lose.
I
love Mike. I'm just saying, I'm siding with Sheik.
Tá sempre deixar o homem ficar mal.
I love Mike. I'm gonna go meet with him in Miami, in New York. But
He wishes in Miami.
I know. But I'm just saying, I agree with Sheik. I was reading their back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know what I wasn't keeping up.
Go read the comments.
But anyway, that's all we really got.
Yeah. Well,
Dave,
listen,
what do you got, bro?
Wednesday, chilling, celebrating.
You got anything else, Dave?
I don't have anything. I thought we were keeping this nice and short here for
Yeah,
our
it's nice.
Nostradamus here.
Yeah, it's Chris. It's always Chris's fault.
It was short. It is. Wow, it's been
You know, the shortest episode was when Chris hosted,
because I have
as of late.
because I have things under control.
He got things under control. That's because you don't go off on tangents.
So you give me a hint. You got to host more often.
Anyway, that is all we got for you this week. We didn't talk about. I just want to mention something real quick about the PT interview. I got to say, I didn't read it. I'm not interested in reading it because I have my own opinion of PT.
I'll give you my I'll give my 2 cents though.
What?
And we're trying to wrap this up, but here's my thing. There's been so much negative obviously publicity out there, so much negative printing about Peasy. And the one thing that left me scratching my head, I have to be brutally honest, was, and I'm not a premium subscriber to Record, so I haven't seen the full thing, but they've released clips of the interview. And there was obviously a video message from Rui Vitoria, which whatever. But the video message from Bruno Lage left me kind of, right? When he turns around and he says, amongst those lines, I don't recall phrase line for line, something about Forza, whatever.
People.
And I've known the feeling I've been let down by those same people. And that left me like, same people. Like that, if there's ever a saving grace for Peasy in my book, that was it right now. I mean, what do you think he's referring to?
I don't.
Who are these
people?
I don't
interpret it.
Right?
I do. I get it, and everything points that there's a group.
Because if in reality this guy really set up Lage for failure, Lage doesn't have. Lage could just tell Record, look, I'm busy. I don't have time. He doesn't have to send him a video. Lage could have very easily just said, look, I can't. I don't. I have other commitments. By law, like, and then he, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. It was the interview was very PC,
and he said he doesn't plan on returning.
And then he said that nothing happened with JJ. It was just something football. When the president has publicly said, yes, there was a problem. PT was going to be excluded from the team.
Mas também não seria a primeira vez que presidente do Benfica mentisse à malta. Just saying.
Pois é verdade. Tens razão. But here's the thing. Everything that PT said contradicts what Rui Costa said. In terms of the event.
Like I said.
In terms of that situation.
Everything else was just music.
Everything was music.
But that Lage comment, that's the only.
Wait, how do you know that Lage is not being sarcastic? We don't know.
Because do you know Lage to be a sarcastic guy? I don't.
It could be.
He seems to be.
He's intelligent enough to throw a barb without people knowing.
This is the coach that would come into a press conference after Benfica victory and would give you a moral lesson.
Yeah.
It doesn't strike me as a sarcastic guy who's trying to send messages.
I just thought I found the whole thing odd.
I will tell you this.
How do they go and get a statement from Vitoria and a statement from Lage?
Well, the
only guy who was missing there was JJ. They probably declined.
They probably
fuck that guy.
He's going for dinner with Vieira. Now, here's the thing. The leaks all came through Record. It's obviously Peasy's got a great relationship with Record. Shocking, you know what I mean? Like our boy Nuno Picado was always at the shocking. The Record gives the exclusive. Like whip.
Record broke the news in terms of what had gone on in the locker room.
So it's like when I saw that, I was like, oh, here we go. This is gonna be one of those. Let's clean up the image, right? Let's do our boy.
Yeah.
But that Lage. I just
and the boys from FM at a good point, which I agree is like Benfica players are so sheltered and so controlled in terms of when they could speak to the media. Was Pizzi allowed and authorized to speak to Record? And why was he allowed to speak to
Wait,
Record.
this interview.
Well, for this interview,
I don't think Benfica has anything to do with that no more. Now
he's still a Benfica player.
but doesn't have to get authority. Maybe the PR people.
Yeah, I don't
from
know.
His new club did.
But the point was understanding the path and the vendetta that both Record and Correio da Manhã have been against Benfica, and they're both owned by the same parent, which is Cofina. And obviously, I'm repeating things that I heard on FM.
By throwing them under the bus.
And they said that number one, if Benfica authorized the interview, why would they authorize it to Record? Since they've had this vendetta against Benfica and they've been the ones spilling out the scooters, and Rui Costa was very
I don't
upset.
think they had a say in it.
You don't think they had a say?
Absolutely not.
I think that Benfica still controls, especially
No.
if he's talking to Portuguese media.
No, because I think the request was put in from Portuguese media to his new club, whatever. What is the name
Yeah,
of the club?
but Benfica
Pasaki?
still owns his pass, man.
Doesn't matter. He's on another team. Like they don't. Anytime, Alfredo. Anytime any media service wants to have it, they don't go to Benfica and say, "Can I have a conversation with Florentino, who's now on loan? Can I have a conversation with Jota, who's on loan?" No,
I know
they
that
go to the club that they're playing for. And so Pasaki probably said, "Yo, yeah, of course you could do an interview." Dad, they had no idea that 100% of the interview was going to be based on Benfica. I'm pretty sure, but I will bet you Benfica had not. I think Benfica was as shocked as all of us.
Yeah, I don't know. If Benfica was shocked, then I get it. But
Tell you, I don't think.
and
Benfica
I
did.
know this because when we requested to speak to Keaton Parks, obviously, Chris is good friends with Keaton, and Keaton, gave Chris a verbal okay to be on our podcast, but you still have to go through the proper channels to be authorized. And granted, Keaton is not a big player at Benfica, just like Pizzi is. Keaton, all you have to do is you have to get the okay from their PR guy, which I believe that I sent an email.
Keaton told the guy, "Yes, I want to do it," so the guy
Right.
approved it.
So
Because he was going to reject it.
yeah,
He was going to reject it, but Keaton said, "No, I want to do it." I know those guys.
Correct. So I just find it odd that this wouldn't have been run by Benfica,
It wasn't. And Mike,
and especially with Pizzi
I'm
saying
reading
that he's
Mike's
going to
comments.
return.
Mike
I don't know.
clearly missed the part where I said when Pasaki approved the interview, they had no idea it was going to be 100% on Benfica. It was just, we're going to do an interview.
Yeah,
And they said,
I'm with you, Mike. I think that this has to go up the chain for Benfica. I think
Alfredo,
even Pizzi knows that.
Benfica didn't know. You're crazy. Benfica has nothing to do with that at that point. It's the club that he's playing for that has to approve.
It could be.
I'm telling you, Alfredo.
Well, do you know that for sure? You don't know. Neither one of us
I'm
knows for sure.
99% sure.
Well, I'm 99% sure also that it would have gotten cleared by
No,
Benfica.
100% no.
Yeah, but Mike makes a great point. Why would the club that he's on loan now agree?
I just told you they didn't know. Alfredo, like you and I.
They didn't know what the content of the interview was going to be? Because the content was basically about Benfica.
Hey, Gordon, I want to interview Sean Davis. Okay, what are you guys going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about the season and what's his upbringing. Okay, fine. Start the interview. Sean, what's up? How's it going? As a Jersey kid, how does it feel like to represent your local club? It's fantastic. All right, let's talk about, let's go back to your roots. You played, here, but that.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't think that I'm telling you, I think everybody was surprised. I think the people that knew about this was clearly Record and Pizzi.
Yeah. And I agree. I don't think Pizzi's coming back, but he still has contract with Benfica. And this was him going rogue to try to clear his name. I completely understood it as a PC / PR type of interview to clear his name, because Pizzi left the club under the suspicion that he had fired JJ, that he was involved in that, or he was part of that. And Rui Costa, he's publicly admitted that there was a problem between JJ and Pizzi. The players took Pizzi's side, and he felt that at that time there was no more conditions for JJ to continue.
I've interviewed plenty of guys. I've been fortunate. I've been privileged. I've been lucky to interview plenty of guys. And unless there is a team steward or somebody that works for the team sitting there controlling everything you're saying, telling the player, tapping them, answer that, don't, which I doubt Vashaki sent somebody that actually speaks Portuguese, that understands every single question. To them, it was beautiful. Oh, look, our team's getting attention in Portugal. We're getting coverage. There was nobody sitting there checking every question that was asked.
I
bet you.
I agree with Mike. I'm convinced PT agreed, Record approved, and Benfica was an outsider 100%.
Exactly.
It only makes sense if it's like that.
That's what I said.
Because
Benfica doesn't have a say.
As a club, and understanding the vendetta that Record and CM have had against you, the last thing you want to do is give him an exclusive interview with a player.
But now you're saying you agree, but that's what I've been saying the whole time.
I agree if that's the case, because I don't see how Benfica would have authorized it.
Benfica had no say.
What I'm saying is that Pizzi should have gone to Benfica.
Why?
Parent club.
No, he shouldn't have. He's playing. He's representing another club now. All requests have to go through my club now. My former club. Now, if he's got class in him, if he's really worried about coming back and
Portuguese
playing,
media.
Doesn't matter. If he's worried about coming back and playing for Benfica, he says, listen, right now is not the right time.
So you think he's burned that bridge?
I think Pizzi's done.
I hope so.
I think Pizzi's done. But now, to you saying that Benfica or like the guys on FM, how does Benfica had no say. Benfica had no idea that this was happening.
For as much as they control players,
how are you going to control a player that's on the outside?
Yeah, but there's so much that they could do in controlling these players, and I really think if Pizzi went rogue, then Pizzi went rogue.
Bro, it wasn't. Listen, a media outlet reached out to Bashaki and said, "I would like to interview your player." They said, "Great, we're going to get coverage internationally, which we don't get much of. This is not Galatasaray. This is not Fenerbahce or Besiktas, right? This is a small. Well, it's in a big city, but it's one of the smaller clubs. They don't get a lot of international attention." They were thrilled that an outside source wanted to do a story on one of their players. Go ahead, right away. Sure, why not? They never once considered, do we call Benfica and ask if it's okay? No, to them, it was great news.
Yeah.
Now, if they had an agreement when Benfica loaned them and Benfica said, look, which they wouldn't do, bro. They just wouldn't. But any media request you get, you got to come through
Portuguese media, man.
Doesn't matter.
If it's Turkish media all day, Benfica is not going to give a rat's ass. But if it's Portuguese media, and maybe Benfica did get caught with their pants down, and nothing was even a consideration. Say, hey, just so you know, Record reached out. I'm going to do an interview with them, and it might be just like Mike is saying. He's a rogue.
Mike is, oh my God.
Anyway, vamos embora, pá.
He doesn't own the place, so they don't have the right.
Vamos embora. Vamos embora.
Love
Dave,
you guys.
Amanhã, pá.
Freddy's.
We'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you to all the Freddies that were in the chat with us, and it was lively. An hour and 32 minutes, almost as long as that first half for Benfica. Take care, everyone.
Love you guys.
Oh,